Would you forgive Harry if he was your son? Now, sources close to the King have suggested that Charles has never given up hope of reuniting with his youngest son, Harry. And this is despite the bombshells that he and Meghan, Harry and Meghan, have recently dropped. Their Netflix docu-horromentary, which I like to call it, they accused the royal family of being institutionally racist and featured Meghan mocking the way she curtsied to the late Queen. And some may say she was being serious with that, but didn't look like that to me. Harry's got his new book Spare now. He's created further tension in the palace. He's gone on, talked about a few things that, well, you don't want to talk about whilst you're having a meal. It's probably about mealtime for some people. And this comes as a source close to Prince William told Entertainment Tonight that he's privately seething and devastated by the new book, which details a physical fight that Harry and William had in an argument over Meghan. More bombshells are expected to drop tonight as Harry's interview with Tom Bradbury airs. However, the King appears to remain determined to bring the families together, as sources insist that Harry and Meghan will still be invited to the coronation. So, for the Great British Debate this hour, I'm asking, would you forgive Harry if he was your son? Joining me now is reality TV star and commentator Narinder Kaur, political commentator Sophie Corcoran, director of Canal 26 Lois Perry, and former Royal Butler Grant Harold. I couldn't resist, Grant. You know how it is. I'm going to start with you, Grant, because you know them both. You know Harry, in fact, you know them all. Is Charles likely to, he seems to want to forgive. If he was your son, would you?
Do you know, it's difficult, Nana. I understand a lot of people say that he shouldn't forgive because obviously what he has put the royal family through, a lot of people said is unforgivable. But at the end of the day, he is his son. His father is Prince Charles, King Charles. When you put all this to the side, it is still a family. And the man that I know, or that I knew, the King, is somebody that has got a compassionate, caring side. And I think deep down it is something that he wants to do. That's why I think, this is my view, that's why I think the palace hasn't actually said anything or done anything what has been said so far, because I believe that his father will be wanting to kind of, the Queen's thing of never complain, never explain, possibly he's thinking, let's just leave it, let the dust settle. But I think it is obviously going to change how things are done going forward. But I think as far as the father-son relationship, I'm hoping that it's fixable.
Well, what do you think, Sophie? Do you think that if it was your son, would you forgive him?
I mean, I personally wouldn't. I think it's really important that people admit that this isn't just a normal sibling breakup, sibling rivalry. This is one that has got enormous media attention and where Harry has dragged his family through the media. And I think Charles has made it very clear numerous times that he wishes to reconcile. And then Prince Harry has come out and said that there is no wish from the palace for reconciliation, which is obviously wrong. And I think, it's time Harry grows up a bit. This man is nearly 40 years old. He's not a child anymore, even though he loves to behave like a child. And I think that Prince Charles needs to do what the nation wants him to do and strip him of his titles and get rid of him for good.
Narinder, you're shaking your head. Why?
Sorry?
You're shaking your head. Why? She's making a point.
Sophie, finally we're on the panel together. The question isn't would you disown your son if he was Harry? The question should be, should Harry forgive his cruel dad and nasty bullying brother? I think I welcome volume 2. I think Harry has exposed this institution for what it is, toxic, unethical, and the way they deal with the media. I mean, Sophie, so, for example, anyone can write what they want about you all day long and you cannot correct it. Harry is taking that narrative and he's correcting the narrative of his own story, and it needs to be told because they are a terrible family.
Well, some people might say those two, Meghan and Harry, are a terrible pair. Lois, what do you think?
Well, I think Harry is a perfect advert for why you should date older men, but that's something completely different. OK, so Prince Harry, should he be forgiven? Yes, on a personal basis, he should be forgiven. But on a constitutional basis and on a basis in terms of our monarchy and our national security and stability, no, I'm afraid not. I think that, unfortunately, he's almost reached the point now where he has to be treated like the Duke of Windsor, who was only allowed back into the country for funerals after he abdicated, because, in effect, Prince Harry has abdicated, and abdicated from his position, obviously not from the crown. But, most people in this country are monarchists. They may not be fanatical monarchists, they may not be waving a flag, but they like the fact that it's there, and, they feel the stability that comes with the constitutional monarchy. What he's doing now, at Meghan's instigation, who's a witch...
No, she's not.
That's what I think.
Okay,
that's my personal opinion.
I hear that.
Yeah,
but we can't really call Meghan a witch.
No,
really.
we can't. We don't know.
Also, she's not here to, which is maybe
we don't know what she gets up to.
I think Meghan's wonderful. I think Meghan's wonderful, and she's been through so much. Harry and Meghan have been fed to the wolves by that family, and they have been telling their story, secretly plotting stories against them and telling lies, basically, and Charles and William have not defended Harry at all.
Well, that's not quite true, actually. There have been quite a few statements that have come out from the palace that have defended both Harry and Meghan, and I've counted about 17. Sophie, what do you make of this, though? I mean, should he be stripped of his titles? I mean, I would go as far as to even strip his birthright title and not call him a prince, but what do you think, Sophie?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I think we should go that far. I mean, he's embarrassed himself, he's embarrassed his family, and he's embarrassed his country through multiple realms. And, I mean, his crass comments about, obviously, the number of Taliban he's killed, he's put in lives, not just those in the armed forces, not just those of his family, but the rest of the British public. As we have a coronation that's come up, he's obviously a big safety issue. In danger, there is, I think, King Charles has to do what the country want him to do, strip him of these titles. I mean, his book was hardly, brilliant. I mean, it was just talking about his frostbitten penis.
No, it's terrible. I must come to Grant. Grant, is this totally out of character for him to be talking in this way and talking about stuff like that? I mean, seriously, was he like that when you knew him?
No, not at all. Not at all. This is why I'm a bit shocked at everything. Every time something comes out, Sophie just mentioned some of those comments that have come out have been quite shocking, because it's not I mean, Harry was very much a joker, a practical joker. He was fun. He used to kind of say things that would shock you, but it was humorous, not this kind of thing. So I'm a bit surprised and shocked. But very quickly, the removal of titles, that is possible. That's the only thing that the king could do. He could remove the HRH, that is possible, which would then just revert back to being Henry Sussex, I suppose, or Henry Mountbatten Windsor. That is possible, but again, it depends how far the royal family, the king and the palace want to go.
I just want to bring Narinder in on this, though. Narinder, so you think it's OK, the frostbitten penis thing, the killing that he talked about, the Taliban? Is this a sort of... Come on, I mean, seriously, the Taliban.
This is his life story. This is
what about the fact that
from a child in public, and he's talking about his whole life story. He's lost his virginity, his frostbitten penis. So what? These are funny little stories.
What about specifically then the reference to the Taliban? That is obviously that's bad, right? Or you think that's okay as well?
I think that's okay. He lived that experience. It's his story. He's allowed to tell his story. And I honestly, Nana, I'm astonished at people saying he can't tell his story. He should remain dignified. It's not feasible for Harry to remain dignified. He has to put his narrative and take control because of the lies being told about his poor wife and him. I am Team Harry. And the great British public, we normally love the underdog. Harry's the underdog.
Can I just say... Can I just say that it would suit Meghan down to the ground if they were stripped of their titles, because she cannot run for public office in the United States of America, which I believe has always been the plan, with her titles. And she loves playing the victim, so that she would have to not renounce her title but be stripped of them. But can I just say as well, that Buckingham Palace must have protected him so much. They must have done.
Narinder, hold on. Narinder, let Lois finish.
Thank you. Can I just say that Buckingham Palace must have protected him so much, because the way he's coming across and the things he's saying, especially about his callous approach to talking about the taking of human lives. I like Prince Harry, but it reminds me of Harry Enfield's Tim Nice but Dim. Bless his heart. That woman's got a lot to answer for.
Sophie.
She really has.
Sophie,
Lois, can I just say, William attacks Harry. Are you condoning violence?
Violence. He talks about killing 25 blokes in the Taliban, and he's pussyfooting around about a scrap with his brother. Come on.
That's the question.
Sophie.
He attacked his brother. It's violence.
Sophie.
Yeah, I mean, well, the entire documentary and the book has just been a massive national embarrassment. We've got the two most privileged people in the entire world sitting here and moaning about how bad their lives is. The fact of the matter is, we, the taxpayer, have funded these two's lives of privilege for a very long time, and here they are going around the world making millions of pounds, telling the world how oppressed they are and the fact they've been oppressed by the British.
Listen, I'm going to give a final word. I'm going to give a final word to Grant. You've got about 10 seconds, 20 seconds even. I'll give you that. Grant, final word to you.
I think the thing is, at the end of the day, they're family like the rest of us, and we've kind of got to let them sort out. That's my view of it. Obviously, it's a family thing. I know they're a world famous family, but we've got to let them resolve it. They've got to sort it themselves.
Well, I wish they would keep it to themselves anyway. If they would do that, it would be great, wouldn't it? Well, Grant, Harold, thank you very much for joining us. Narinder Kaur, good to talk to you again.
Thank
also,
you.
Sophie Corcoran and Lois Perry for joining me on that one.